Welcome to the Illinois Tech Alumni Mentorship Program orientation for the fall 2022 and spring 2023 semesters. This program is hosted by the Illinois Tech Career Services Office. If you have any questions, concerns, or issues at any time, please contact Emily Ginger at eginger@hawk.iit.edu. Here's a brief outline of what we will cover today. Program goals and overview, student requirements, professionalism and communication, as well as maximizing your mentorship and business relationship. Let's take a look at program goals and overview. The goals of the mentorship program are to provide a professional resource that helps students navigate their academic and career path, as well as help students build and develop professional skills and begin and nurture a business relationship. So what is a mentee and a mentor? A mentee is someone who's seeking direction, information, knowledge, or advice. A mentor is someone with that information, knowledge, experience, and expertise. And how can a mentorship help? Well, it can be mutually beneficial for the mentee and the mentors. Students can benefit in many ways, including understanding their academic and career options, navigating their career paths, expanding their network, increasing their own confidence, developing professional communication skills. And alumni can benefit too. It's an opportunity for alumni mentors to give back. They've been in your position before, they've been in your shoes, and there's a reason that they volunteered to help students get through the process that they've been through themselves. Let's take a look at the program, just a brief overview. So students are matched with alumni mentors based on their major, degree, and when possible, career interests as well. Mentors and students collaborate to determine mutual goals and activities to work on during the mentorship. And then students and mentors will connect regularly. We recommend every 2 to 4 weeks through April 2023. After matching with a mentor, students must initiate the first contact to arrange the meeting. This is an opportunity to practice leadership and initiative. Students must also identify goals and activities before the first meeting. This is practicing self-development and professionalism. You must come prepared to the first meeting with your mentor. In the first meeting, students and mentors will get to know each other. You'll begin building a relationship. In the first meeting, you will determine your goals, activities, discussion topics, and method of accountability that you'll have for your mentorship. You'll determine the frequency and type of connections that you'll make, and it'll all be compiled into the mentorship agreement form. After the first meeting, you're going to connect regularly with your mentor. The types of connections can include in-person or virtual meetings, phone calls, emails, LinkedIn, or text messages. Just depends on what it is that you guys decide on. You'll work on activities or discuss certain topics that you've already identified. Connect to provide updates to your mentor. Continue to nurture your relationship. Think about it. If your relationship were a plant, how else can you nurture it and make it grow? Let's take a look at student requirements. This includes goals, activities, discussion topics, and the mentorship agreement form. Students must identify their own goals for the mentorship. We recommend that you use the SMART goals framework. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. An example of a goal that does not follow the SMART guidelines would be prepare for the workforce. This goal is not very helpful because it's too broad and not specific. How would you know when you are prepared? How can you measure this goal? How would you know when you've met this goal? How do you know how long it will take you to prepare? An example of a more helpful goal is prepare for job interviews or finalize my resume by the end of this month. Let's dissect the prepare for job interviews goal. This is specific. You're preparing for interviews. It's measurable. You can role play with job interviews. You can identify common interview questions and practice answering them. You can practice an elevator pitch. These are all activities that can help you reach your goal. It's attainable, it's feasible, it's something you can do. You can do all of those activities to help you prepare. It's realistic, reasonable things for you to do, and they can be completed within a reasonable amount of time. Here's some examples of other SMART goals that we've provided with you in your materials. Students must also identify activities to work on during the mentorship to help them achieve their goals. Here's a list of some suggested activities that have also been provided to you in your materials. Get creative, come up with your own, whatever it might be that would be helpful to you in reaching your goals. Students must also identify discussion topics that they would like to cover during their mentorship, again, to help them achieve their goals. Here's a list of some suggested topics that you can discuss. They've been provided to you in your materials, but again, get creative. If there's a discussion topic that you would really like to cover, ask your mentor if they'd be comfortable discussing it with you. The last requirement is the mentorship agreement form. The purpose of this form is to outline the goals, activities, and discussion topics to cover during the mentorship. Students and mentors will collaborate to complete the mentorship agreement form during their first meeting. This is a collaborative process. We want students to come in with an idea of the goals, activities, and discussion topics that they would like to cover. However, it is important that you discuss that with your mentor to see if those are things that they are comfortable helping you with. Here is the mentorship agreement form, which has been provided to you as part of your materials. Module 3, next we'll discuss professionalism and communication. When it comes to professionalism, impressions really do matter, and professionalism can include appearance, behavior, your communication, how prepared you are, how well you convey respect, appreciation, and your manners. Let's talk about professional appearance. It's important to dress appropriately. A good rule of thumb is that if you're unsure, dress up because it can be relaxed on the spot if you need to. Some examples of what not to wear, you might be familiar with these, would be hoodies, yoga pants, sweatpants, mesh shorts, your baseball cap, t-shirts, jeans, a short skirt, shorts, or a dress. Examples of more appropriate attire that would be befitting of a professional relationship would be a blouse or a collared shirt, dress pants, khaki pants, a knee-length skirt or shorts or a dress. Let's discuss professional behavior. Behavior can include many things: posture, mannerisms, eye contact, attitude, demeanor, language, and communication. It's important to sit upright. Do not slouch over or recline back in your seat. Don't put your feet up on the chair or a table. Eye contact, make sure that you do make eye contact. It indicates that you are listening and open to communicating. Attitude, you need to be polite and respectful. Smile, nod, acknowledge when appropriate. It's a sign of a positive attitude. And then a demeanor would be Being aware of your own emotions and how they affect what you do, and managing your emotions so that they don't interfere with your interactions in a negative way. Be open to critique or criticisms. Be approachable. And then language, use appropriate language, speaking well, concisely, and clearly. When it comes to professional written communications, here are a few tips. It's good to have a clear set of goals. For example, a goal might be, I want to arrange a time to meet. Or I want to ask for advice with internship and job interviews. Have a goal. Then, when writing the message, be brief and concise. Shorter and to the point with a friendly tone is usually best. A good rule of thumb is to keep it to a paragraph or just a few concise sentences at most. You can always provide more information later in the conversation. Some more tips with professional written communications are, when composing an email, use a clear title for your email. For example, if you want to set up a meeting time, include that in the title. Or if you're looking for resume review, you could include that in the title of your email. Always begin with a salutation. For example, say hi or hello and the individual's name. Again, be brief, concise, and use appropriate language. Always express appreciation for their time and assistance and end with your name. For example, you can say thank you in advance, or thank you, or just best. Professionalism in terms of preparedness. You must be on time for your meetings. This is very important. Alumni are volunteering their time, which is very valuable. So it's important that you respect their time. Along with that, come prepared to your meetings. Think about what you want to discuss or the assistance you are seeking in advance before the meeting. And remember that you are driving the mentorship. You only get out of it what you put into it. Professionalism in terms of respect and appreciation. Again, respect the time and effort of our alumni volunteers. Express appreciation and thanks for their assistance. Always offer to do things in return. Ask them, is there anything I can do in return for the help you're giving me? Lastly, Module 4, making the most of your mentorship. Let's review the mentee tips and advice. This is part of the materials that have been provided to you. Tip number 1, own the introduction. During your first meeting, take the initiative to introduce yourself, who you are, and why you are interested in mentorship. Show your mentor that you are invested in the relationship and that you appreciate their valuable time. Tip number 2, ask about their professional background. Compliment and genuinely acknowledge the wins of their professional journey. These actions will go a long way. Actively listen and pay attention to what your mentor is saying. Nod, smile, ask questions. Tip number 4, share your hopes, goals, and fears. It's okay to be vulnerable. Just be honest with your mentor. It helps them to understand you. Tip number 5, ask questions. Clarify. Mentors cannot read minds and they don't know what you want, need, seek, or are thinking. Tip number 6, keep in mind the mentor's primary role is not to get you a job or internship. They help guide and develop you professionally. Mentors cannot help with everything. Tip number 7, follow up and stay engaged with your mentor. Share updates from previous conversations or developments. Send a thank you note to acknowledge them for their contributions. Get creative. Tip number 8, share new information, knowledge, or relevant content or connections. Mentoring relationships are learning experiences for both the mentee and the mentor. It's a mutual benefit. Tip number 9, find value in all connections. Even if mentorship doesn't initially feel like a good match, it really does take time for relationships to develop and for people to open up and get comfortable with one another. Last tip, only if the mentor becomes unresponsive and you have tried to connect multiple times, send a last email. Maintain an upbeat tone, express that you understand commitments can pile up, express that you would like to stay connected, and thank them for the mentoring they have given, and then wish them luck in their endeavors. This applies only if you have made multiple attempts to connect and your mentor is unresponsive. But please contact Emily Ginger at eginger@hawk.iit.edu if any of these issues come up at any time. Here's another material that has been provided to you. It's an outline of things that are essential to communicate during your first meeting with your mentor. Please review this prior to your first meeting. This will go a long way in making sure that you have a successful mentoring relationship. Here's another program material that you have been provided with. It is the suggested first meeting outline. Please review this prior to your first meeting to give you an idea of how that meeting should go and what it should include. Just a reminder, our alumni mentors cannot help with everything, but there are a lot of on-campus resources that are available to students at any time. Definitely seek those out. There are career coaches available to you via Handshake. Career Services has many different resources. Some of them would be VMOC Going Global, as well as resume and cover letter review. You can find a list of all of the resources available on the Illinois Tech website. In terms of information about the program, you can find that on our Elevate website. This concludes the orientation. I will leave you with this. Focus on the goals, activities, and discussion topics you would like to cover during your mentorship. You can always go back and revise them if needed with your mentor. Here are some helpful self-reflection questions I will leave you with. What does a mentorship mean to me? Why do I want a mentor? And how could a mentor help me? Remember, please reach out to Emily Ginger at any time with any questions, concerns, or issues. We are here to help you succeed in this. Other than that, happy mentoring.